anyone with my missive.
Oh, yes, I agree with Jordan on that. I don't think he didn't threaten anybody. He didn't threaten anybody. He was just saying, "Hey, kind of think." Well, you'll hear later his explanation because when I first was watching this, I was like, "I don't know if I agree. This doesn't seem sincere to me." But when he explains his entire position, I'm like, "Oh, this makes absolute sense." Because to me, I'm at a point where like these people are gonna ruin their own lives. Okay, like literally, who cares? You do what you want to do. There's gonna be other people getting married and having babies. You guys don't want to, fine. You want to sterilize your kids, fine. And it breaks my heart to see. Do not get me wrong, it breaks my heart to see. But I just what is going on with American parents where you're putting your kid on hormone blockers to prevent puberty. These things are permanent. You're letting them get like top or bottom surgery, and people are going to act like it's not happening to teens. In some states, it does happen for teens because there was all this outrage for Texas when they were trying to say that, hey, like we want to consider this a child abuse law, and nobody was going for it, right? Like, well, on the progressive side of things, on the left side of things, we're like, that's not good enough. That's a bad thing. And I'm like, these are children and their prefrontal cortexes aren't even fully formed. You don't think that's going to backfire? I have so many tattoos that I regret that I got under the age of 25. Matter of fact, I think when I turned 25 is when I stopped getting bad tattoos. Okay, there are things that were permanently done to my body. I got a breast reduction when I was 21, and not once did the thought enter my mind about breastfeeding a child until the surgery was complete. And it wasn't something that my doctor, my medical provider brought up to me. You would think a plastic surgeon would sit down with a young fertile woman and say, "Hey, have you thought about, the possible outcomes of this of when you get older?" It doesn't happen. Why? Because these people want money. Okay, and they want money for like, let me explain this. So when I got my breast reduction, I think it was for a good reason. Like I'm not mad at you know what I'm saying? Like it did what it was supposed to do. But there's a certain amount of fat that the plastic surgeon had to turn in to the insurance company to say like there was a certain amount. Okay, there was a minimum that they had to turn in to be like, hey, this was a breast reduction, and that's because I got it paid for by the United States government. Okay. So like people make money off of these things, and some of these things are arguably unethical. Like plastic surgeons that consent to make people's faces look like dragons, look like cats. Plastic surgeons that are obviously dealing with people that have body dysmorphia and they look like clowns at the end of it, not even close to, like a normal fertile woman. And I mean, it's getting to the men too. Men are getting ab implants, but men are also getting lengthening surgery. So yes, like once Jordan explains his full position, I see why he said what he said, and I think it is important.